Hey guys, thank you for tuning back in with me for my Spotlight on Success. I have an amazing interview to show you guys today. I am so excited about this one. It was a great long conversation, amazing points, amazing questions, and I ended up having to split it up into two parts just to make it a little easier for you guys. We ended up speaking for over an hour and a half. So a lot of editing went into this. I really hope you guys enjoy it, are inspired by this story, and I'm gonna just let y'all get into it. Okay, all right. Hey guys, thank you for coming to my spotlight. Today I have Devon Wilson with me, aka Farmer Vaughn, and I'm gonna be interviewing him and asking him some questions about Sunlight Gardens and Farmacy. Are they like one or two separate?
It's separate, so Sunlight Gardens is the farm, Farmacy is the store.
Okay. But they're coming here.
Yeah, definitely. We say it's like, this is our pharmacy.
I like the wordplay on it. Okay. Yeah. Tell me a little bit about Farmacy and Sunlight Gardens, where you kind of started with that.
Yeah, so Sunlight Gardens, we're a 2-acre urban organic farm, and our mission is to increase access to local food and inspire the next generation of farmers. We do a lot of different things here, but the main thing is growing food and feeding the community, essentially. We want to have a very large impact, which is why we do some of the other things we do, which we can get into later, like we do some education stuff, we do a lot of events, parties, and things like that. But really, at the core of what we do is increasing access to local food, inspiring the next generation of farmers, and then with Farmacy specifically, where food is medicine. Farmacy where food is medicine, and realizing like eating food is something that we have to do 3 times a day, every day. And no matter what you look like, where you come from, rich, poor, whatever, everybody has to eat. And to me, since it's such a necessary thing, it shouldn't be something that is harming our bodies. And we know that you can look at the statistics and just the facts of it. In low-income areas, people are getting diet-related illnesses, meaning the food that they're forced to eat every day is making them sick, killing them slowly in a way. And it's one of those things where it's like, you eat unhealthy and it's not making you sick right away. So we tend to just, all right, well, I don't have much money, so I'm gonna just get the cheaper option, go through the drive-through, this and that. But it's really harmful to our longevity, to even our mental health, and a lot of other things that's tied into it. And so, Sunlight Gardens and Farmacy, the idea is like breaking that cycle. With the store, we talk about convenience stores, and if you live in an area like this, a more low income area in the hood, a lot of you eating from the liquor store, you eating from the convenience store. But to me, it's not convenient if you're eating a product and it's making you sick, right? Like, it's not really convenient, it's just, it's quick and easy. So that's where it is. It's like, okay, can we redefine what convenience means? And so like in the store, like you got to look around a little bit, you see like we have a lot of, chips and snacks and like convenient products, but they just have real ingredients in them. Like our candies have real sugar. We don't have artificial dyes, artificial sweetener, things like that. So, you can eat something and enjoy it, it's convenient, and it's also charging you up and not giving you diabetes at the end of the day, cancer, things like that.
Food is fuel, essentially.
Exactly.
Like, that's how we nourish our bodies. So, me personally, I think it's one of the most important things when it comes to your lifestyle is what you put in your body. Because whatever you put into your body, it shows,
For sure.
Your skin health, your overall digestive health. A lot of people I realize are having like autoimmune disorders. And
talk about it.
Yeah, and it's it does have a big issue with our food that we eat. So is this something that, like, upon your youth, you were really inspired to do?
It is, yeah. I think I was a really curious kid, being young. Like I always, one of those annoying kids. Like why, always asking like why this, why that, and like we're probably similar age, so we kind of came up in that time when we didn't grow up with social media and all that, but like once we were like teenagers, and for me like 12 years old, I started using the internet more. Right, the internet was really, you know what I'm saying, becoming a part of our daily life, so to speak. And so just being on the internet and seeing different things, I kind of, being curious, got to see like, okay, the way that we're eating and the way that our system is set up is almost designed to make us sick, keep us sick in a way. And the option to be healthy, I mean, it's out there, but it's hard to access for me and my family and my community. Like, we didn't have, like, even to this day, like, we don't have like a Whole Foods. We don't have like a lot of these healthier options. So I think that's really what inspired me. And then also, like, I love food. Just like as a connoisseur of flavor, and like I really enjoy eating food. To be real with you, I kind of felt a sense of betrayal when I started to understand, use the internet, things like this more about, okay, what we're eating is making us sick. Like as a young kid, chubby kid, I'm eating hot Cheetos, honey buns, this and that. And then I'm seeing my grandmother dealing with diabetes, my auntie having cancer. And then I find out like the stuff that I'm eating and that I love, that tastes good to me, it set me up for failure. And so I felt like a sense of betrayal almost. And so I'm like, wow, like, okay, I want to provide food for myself, my family, my community, that we can be proud to eat, that tastes good and is healing us. Like you said, food is fuel, it's fueling us up and setting us up for a life of longevity. Wealth, inspiration. That's kind of what made me passionate into it. Like I just love life. I love life, and I want to live a good life. And like going back to what I was saying earlier, like we gotta eat. So for me, I mean, I love art. I love a lot of different things, but I got so passionate into the farming and the food just to kind of set that foundation, so to speak. So
Yeah, a lot to like food-wise, and you mentioned the internet. You think that a lot of people with access to the internet too would like look into the foods that they're eating and see that they're not good for us, especially since that's like, something super simple we can just go and do. But I really do think it's the way that our society is in pushing on those unhealthy, when you don't see ads for farms on TV.
right.
You see fast food ads and medicine ads, and
That's crazy.
forbid that we try to heal ourselves with food, right?
Right.
Do you think that urban farming is something that should be taught in our education system?
Most definitely, I do. Yeah. If you think about animals in general, like even a deer knows where to go get its food and water. You can't really say the same about humans, right? Besides a store, a lot of us we get our stuff from the store. And I was the same way when I was younger. Yeah, like what happens if that store is closed one day? Like we got a taste of that during COVID, right?
Yeah.
The stores used to be open 24/7, all night and this and that. Now, they close at midnight. You know what I mean? Not to go on like a conspiracy route, right? But it's like, you never know what can happen.
Yeah.
That's the kind of person I am, right? Like you never know what can happen. So to your point, like I think the basic survival skills should be taught in school. We should know how to catch water, filter basic water. We should know how to work the land and grow food from the land. You know what I'm saying? Even like hunting and fishing and like all like really I think we should be learning all that, like nature school.
Yeah.
But you know we getting taught how to be an employee rather than how to be a boss or how to, you know, be self-sustainable. So yeah, I definitely think they should teach those it's basic survival school. I don't even think they barely teach how to cook in school like that anymore, you know? I think I learned how to make like pizza bagels or something when I was in school, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
which is cool, like, whatever, but teach me how to make a stir fry, teach me how to can and jar and preserve food.
Yeah, life skills, like actual life skills.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree as well. I definitely think that out of all the things that we're taught in school, that they could definitely make time to educate people on what's good for their body. So you had mentioned something about you do classes. What is, you want to tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we do a lot of different like classes, teaching people how to grow food, teaching people how to cook. I'm not like a chef or nothing like that, so I don't really teach people how to cook, but we'll partner with chefs. Carl, who you saw a little bit ago, he's actually a vegan chef.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, so like he'll do classes out here. And so yeah, we have events on the farm. I'll go into schools sometimes, show kids how to plant a raised bed, you know, or build a raised bed, plant it, and grow simple lettuce, radish, you know, simple stuff. And then one thing that's coming up I'm really excited about is we're going to be doing a workforce development program here on the farm. And so basically, you know, on this journey, I realized like we need more practitioners. Kind of exactly what we're talking about. Like they don't teach this stuff in school, so kids don't know what's possible, or they don't. First of all, they don't see themselves being a farmer because it's like, I mean, you said you don't see advertisements of this is agriculture. This is like you think of a farmer, you think of a old person on a tractor. You know, whatever. It's lame. It's boring. Like it's not attractive at all. And that's just one part of our food system. We're talking about farming. We're in a store. This is another part. There's research that has to happen. Like I'm a soil nerd. I'm the type of person, I look at soil through microscopes and study the composition of soil and how to really build great soil. So that's a whole career path in itself, right? Like people can have PhDs to study this type of stuff. So the workforce development program is built to get young kids exposed to different careers in our food system with the goal of just having a more strong, robust food system. And like, I kind of joke about it, but I, in my mind, like, you should be able to go to Taco Bell, order a taco, and it's like you're eating local food. Why not? You know what I mean? And now we know you go to Taco Bell, you're eating kind of low quality food. It's fast food, you know, and nothing against it, right? Everybody, you have those 2 a.m. night, whenever you gotta stop and, I don't judge nobody. But it's just the fact of being aware and working towards a system where, like, I like Taco Bell. You know what I'm saying? Like that, they make good tasting food. It's not good for our bodies, but it tastes good.
Yeah.
So why can't we match the flavor with the health benefits?
Yeah.
And all it would take is a more robust food system. We have local farmers that are growing corn to make tortillas locally. We have, somebody growing cows for beef locally at a scale where we can supply a fast food chain like that. And I'm telling you, it would elevate the flavor even more. We know when you eat locally and organically, the flavor is way better. It's much better. Like we have strawberries in the store today, sold out of them. Because people come in, they see the Michigan strawberries, you can smell it, you can see it, they're brighter, they smell way better.
Probably don't need as much preservatives and all that stuff that they pump into the foods.
100%. It didn't sit on the back of a truck all the way from California driving up here. You know what I mean? The vision is like, you should be able to just go anywhere, not even have to think too much about it, and you're eating local food. We know local food is much better for you, it's better tasting, it's better for the environment and our soil, and it's better for our bodies and our health too. Saying all that to say, that's the hopeful outcome of this program, is that we're building more practitioners of the food system to be able to have a higher capacity to supply these different restaurants, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's awesome. So if you're not getting taught about food and how to farm, Farmer Bond's got you.
sure enough, yeah, sign ups, open it up soon.
When you initiated these plans, or like your idea of pharmacy, Sunlight Gardens, how long would you say it was before you started seeing your dreams like come to reality?
That's a great question. So I think when I really felt like I was making a lot of progress, I mean, it was a lot of milestones along the way. How I initially got into farming, I was probably 15 or 16 years old, having those realizations we talked about. And I just went to volunteer on a local farm. So it was called Sprout. People might have heard of Sprout before. They've kind of transitioned and evolved into like a food hub now. But at the time, they were doing like community gardens. And so long story short, I started there. Then I started my own farm. It was a combination of basically farming anywhere I could. So I leased some land in the beginning, and then I was farming on, like my friend he had bought a house and he had a side lot. So I turned that lot into a small garden and was farming there. And then I had a partnership with a flower farmer and was farming. So I was like farming in all these little spots, bringing my stuff together and going to the farmer's market and selling. So I saw progress then, and then this land became available to purchase at the end of 2020. So I bought this land at the end of 2020, and that's when I really started seeing a lot of progress because I had more space, I wasn't so spread out. Mm-hmm. And since then, I really also saw a lot of progress when Carl and Jerry started helping me out. So Carl's a store manager, Jerry's a farm manager, and they both started as volunteers. So they just started helping me out in exchange. I was teaching them how to grow, and they would help me farm and help me do the work. That helped me build up to a level where I could pay them and pay myself more. And then that's when I quit my job. I used to do bartending and serving and stuff like that. So I quit my job, started working full-time here, started getting more into teaching, and I really enjoyed teaching. I kind of grew a passion for teaching people and spreading the knowledge. And then we just kept making more and more progress since then.
Okay, that's awesome. You love teaching. So did you take well to like working with the community? Like, was it something that came easy to you then?
I would say yeah, it is. And like when we opened the store up, the feedback that we got from the community was inspiring, and it was reassuring to say, okay, people do want this. It's not just me trying to do whatever, like people are like, oh, this is whatever. It was reassuring that, people were happy to have another option. A lot of the products that you go to, and it's the same products at every store. And they're all owned by the same corporations. A lot of times, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, owns all these different chip companies, all these snack companies, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think people are just happy to have another option. And it's urban farming, specifically, you really do have to work with your community. And you gotta be willing to teach people. You gotta be willing to open up the farm for volunteer days. And I think that's one of the great functions of an urban farm is you get to show people agriculture. In the city, like yeah, you people are, there's houses all around us right now. People open their door and they see us working, they get kind of curious, or they might even just like for a kid, right? Like when I was a kid, I did not know food grew in the dirt, like, and that, I mean that sounds crazy to me now because of what I do, but like, I mean seriously, I didn't know food grew in the dirt. You know what I mean? Like I would just, my mom, we would go to the store together, get things off the shelves. How was I supposed to know? So I think a lot of kids have that same experience. It's like, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
It's actually a crazy way to look at it. It's like we've become biophobic. So like we have like biophobia, meaning like people are scared of nature.
Yeah, scared of dirt.
For real, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of people, they don't want to get dirty. They're scared of bugs.
I was grounded when I was outside. I'm chilling on the ground. That's what I did. I get out there.
That was
like,
dope.
this is nice. I'm touching the grass.
Right.
So yeah,
That's
I totally
real.
understand.
That's real. And so yeah, I mean, I would actually have people say like, "Oh, I don't want to eat that because that came out of the dirt." I mean, you know what I mean? So it just shows how disconnected we have become from the earth and from nature. So yeah, it's a great reality to be able to offer that knowledge and reconnection to people. And to be real with you, I think a lot of the problems we have in our society is because of how disconnected we have became from nature. Honestly, right?
I would agree. I would agree with that too. Well, you did kind of answer this already, but do you feel that your movement in the community took well?
I would say, yeah, I think so. And maybe that's not fair for me to answer that, you know what I mean? But I would say yes. And the reason is because of what I was saying earlier. People are happy that we're here to have another option.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we're making a more beautiful space.
Well, why would you feel like you wouldn't be able to answer that?
Because I'm biased, right?
Well, I don't think that we have to deem people as biased. There's a difference. Like, you care about what you do, and you care a lot about, again, the movement behind it. Like, it's more of an inspiration. So I feel like even if you do feel like it went off well, or being biased, I guess, it's your perspective. You want what you're doing to be doing well. You want what you're doing to like kick off and be successful. And even if you have to have a little bit of delusion in the beginning, that's how dreams come true. So, I mean, you're making it happen. You're here.
Yeah. No, I like how you look at it.
You just told me you started off with little farms everywhere. Now, it's all come together. You have a 2-acre farm. It's absolutely beautiful. You have a store. So, I would say that I think you're doing well. If you want an unbiased opinion.
Let's go. Hey, I appreciate it.
Okay, so when you opened up Farmacy, because you were just the Sunlight Gardens at first, right?
Yeah.
Sunlight Gardens. When you opened up Farmacy, was it a little bit of a challenge in the beginning because it was more responsibility to take on?
It definitely was, yeah. And that's been an interesting part of this because like I really just wanted to farm and grow food. And that's kind of what I fell in love with in the beginning was growing, putting seeds in the dirt, growing things. And now, I really am in this role of being a CEO because I have different enterprises. We have the farm going on, we have events, we have educational workforce development programs going on, we have the store, and even the online, as you know, the online, like the media, we do YouTube and things like that.
Yeah, I was watching your YouTube. I've watched your YouTube.
Yeah.
When you're talking about the volunteers, and I immediately thought of your, 100 volunteers versus one farmer.
Yeah.
So, I did my research.
Okay,
I did my research.
She does her research.
But, yeah.
So all of these things, like, I can tell you this, I was not thinking about all that in the beginning, right? I'm thinking about, let me grow some microgreens. Let me try to grow a collard green and this and that. Moving forward, I've really just had to develop a lot of skills, that I did not know I was going to need in the beginning. So to answer your question, this was a big learning curve. And I'm still learning. I'm still learning a lot. You know, being a shopkeeper, owning a store, marketing, you know, ordering, pricing things out, even just managing teams and people and things like that. It was a lot of it. I had to learn those skills. I think my passion and dedication is the fuel to just kind of make me fearless and willing to learn whatever skills I have to. Because sometimes I'm like, yo, this is over my head, right? Like, even, I remember there was a point in time, like, I wasn't comfortable with being a leader. You know, I never necessarily looked at myself like that. I was just grow, you know, I'm Farmer Vaughn, I grow stuff, whatever. But as you've said, it is a movement. And to get a movement in motion, you have to take on that leadership role, and you have to, and like, we can talk about the store, we can talk about the enterprises that are within Sunlight Gardens, but the ability to connect with people and manage teams, I think is one of the most important skills, honestly. I think it's one of the most important skills because, I mean, first of all, if you can manage a good team, you can really do a lot of different type of projects. But there's an old like African proverb, it's like, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And I really believe that. I mean, there was times when I first bought the property before my volunteers came, or well, employees now. I was like, I had that realization of like, okay, I think I've got as far as I can by myself. And that was when I started to develop those skills of being a leader, forming teams, and yeah, to push the movement forward. So I know that was a long way to answer that question.
No, it's good because that kind of goes into my next question. How does it feel, and is there pressure coming with being a community leader?
That's a great question. I mean,
I got good questions.
you really do. You really do. I can tell you did your research.
I like to know stuff.
Yeah, this is dope. I think, yeah, I'll be lying if I said there wasn't any pressure. But it's like, for me, it's a healthy pressure. It's a healthy pressure. Pressure makes diamonds, right?
Yep.
And so it's like, I think if I didn't have that pressure, I would just be playing around necessarily. I have the pressure of being the best that I can be to push the movement forward. To be real with you, I still don't necessarily look at myself as like this community leader and this and that. Like, I'm just doing what I feel called to do. Mm-hmm. And to be real with you, I'm having fun with everything I do. Yeah. And that's at the core of it for me. Keeping things fun and flavorful, and that's the sustainability in it for me. Because I believe if you are, you can, that's how you burn out. Right? If you're doing things for other people all the time, yeah, and you know, so it's a both and. Like, I welcome the community leader aspect of what I do, but then at the same time, it's like, I'm doing this because I want to do it. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I don't let the pressure take me off of my course.
That's good to be, yeah, definitely good to be under pressure sometimes, because some of us, that's when we perform the best. I know when I'm under pressure, I used to have the bad habit in school of, I don't want to say I procrastinated, but I knew that I would have better outcome work if I just sat and waited before my time to do it, if that makes sense.
For sure.
So like when I knew like that time crunch was there, I don't know if it was something innate with like, oh, you know, you gotta get this stuff done, like, I'm trying to think of the word, essentially like adrenaline, almost like adrenaline,
okay.
Sometimes gets us to perform our best, for sure. So a little bit of pressure is definitely good. Yeah. So farming definitely isn't easy. When you first started the farms, were there challenges that you had to face?
Definitely, yeah, a lot of different challenges. I would say some of the bigger ones were actually animal and pest pressure. Being in an urban environment, like in Battle Creek here, like we're urban, but we have a lot of like rural pockets. So there tends to be a lot of deer, groundhog, rabbits, and then not to mention like the worms and the bugs that can attack your crops too. So being a regenerative and organic grower, meaning like I don't use any pesticides, herbicides, things like that, I had to learn a lot of methods to get a good product. So that was a major one. And it's kind of like it's like a niche one, but there might be somebody that wants to grow or be a farmer and watch it. Like that is something you really have to figure out because it's so discouraging if you grow a bunch of food, you put all this time into working the earth, planting everything out. Next thing you know, everything gets wiped out and overnight because a deer got in your fence, you know what I'm saying? Or a groundhog dug a tunnel and ate all your stuff, right? So yeah, that's a major one. Not being a farmer, like learning everything, learning how close to plant everything together, what grows well together, the seasonality of things. So luckily I went to school, I went to Michigan State, they have an organic farmer training program. So I got to go through that and learn a lot. And then there's also some really good books like Elliot Coleman, he wrote a book called The Organic Grower, The New Organic Grower. And that has a lot of really good like charts and references to teach you like, okay, how far do you space things apart? What time of year do you plant this and that? And then, yeah, even like urban farming, like some of the ordinances that you have to go through, because you're in the city, you have to work with the city, right? So I've had to like build relationships with it's not the city planner, but like basically like the zoning and the variances of everything. I had to build relationships with these people and, tell them what I'm trying to do to even be able to do all this kind of stuff. So yeah, it's a lot of different unexpected challenges that you face, but it's just that it always seems impossible until it's done.
Yeah.
You keep pushing at it, you'll figure a way out. But yeah, it was a lot.
So is there any like specific examples of like the farm being impacted where you kind of had to like get back on your feet or anything like that?
I mean, the animals is a big one. The animals is a big one. Like I used to not know how to trap groundhogs and things like that. So I mean, we would plan out. Like I remember the one where I had like a breaking point, a breakthrough was like we had planted an entire spring crop of collard greens, kale, and lettuce in a hoop house. And I remember planted everything. It was a long day. Got all the plants in the ground. It was probably like 1,000+ plants.
Mm-hmm.
Came back the next day. They had ate everything and destroyed our whole crop that we were planning on selling throughout that season. And before that, like we said, like I love nature, right? Like, I don't want to kill stuff. I don't want to, you know what I mean? So I would actually I would live trap the groundhogs, which is much harder. And I really don't, now at this point, I don't recommend it. But I would live trap them and then like drive to whatever, Bellevue, like forest, swamp area and let them out. When that happened, it got to a point where it's like, all right, I'm about to be like saving this wildlife and doing all this, or I'm gonna grow food and have a business. Like it was like one or the other because it wasn't working. So yeah, that was a big one. I remember something I'm still kind of going through is the deer. So like we need to build a deer fence around the whole property, which is an 8-foot fence behind. So you build like a 4-foot fence and then you build an 8-foot fence behind it. That's technically illegal in the city. You're not supposed to have a fence that's higher than 6 feet. Whatever. I had to go to a bunch of meetings, city council meetings, and basically get them to approve a variance for this fence. And then figure out how to get the money for this. This is like a $15,000 fence
Yeah.
to build. And so I just remember, like, thankfully I'm on the other side of that. Now I'm just, you know, kind of saving up funds to build it. But in the process of it, it was a lot of hoops I had to jump through for them to even accept it. And I remember it was like, basically I was at the mercy of the city commissioners to either vote to say, yeah, you can do this, or no, you cannot. Thankfully, we purchased this property from a nonprofit, so they had some variances in place for us to even be able to do agriculture here. So that helped out a lot. But yeah, going through that variance process is like, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, it definitely seems complicated. And I haven't like had to do too much with the city, but I have sat in on city council meetings before where I live at, and I definitely see what people have to go through and do certain things. So yeah, and I know that's complicated because you're trying to do something for the community, and it's like I gotta jump through all these hoops to try to feed my community.
Right. Like, come on.
Like, be for real, be something for real right now.
You know what I mean? It's like, are you serious? So.
If you've made it this far in this video, I would just like to give a big thank you. I am so excited and so very proud of how far my spotlight has come. So don't forget to tune into part 2, because this was a really long and inspirational and educational video. If you'd like more content like this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.